Welcome back to my video 2 on inclusive school culture. We're going to review some of the definitions that we had found in the literature. So inclusive school culture, we can define inclusive education as a teaching model whereby all students, regardless of their ability, learn together in one environment, and that was per future learning. Then we also have a school culture defines the values, expectations, beliefs, and assumptions of everyone from administrators to students, and that's from Team XQ in 2022. Then a definition of leadership. A leader appreciates diversity, invites and welcomes everyone's individual contribution, and encourages full engagement with the processes of decision making and shaping reality. The aim of inclusive leadership is to create, change, and innovate while balancing everybody's needs, and that's per Childhood Education International in 2021. And then last, education. Inclusive education means different and diverse students learning side by side in the same classroom, and that's via Open Society Foundation in 2019. Next, we have the roles of school leaders, which is to practice self-awareness. We want them, self-aware leaders, admit mistakes and show vulnerability, practice self-reflection and mindfulness, and challenge stereotypes. We want living a shared vision. We want inclusive leaders to co-create and live a shared vision with other stakeholders. We want them to build relationships with colleagues and community members. Relationship building entails creating a sense of belonging and purpose in a safe environment while avoiding deficit thinking. We also want to create and manage change, to empower individuals and develop strategies for handling the complexities of various projects. So how do we start with that process if we don't have anything going in our district currently? What we want to make sure is that we remember that all students have an equal right to education. Classrooms should be made up of students with mixed abilities. No children should be separated from main groups based on discrimination. We should have appropriate activities planned and each student's personal needs taken into consideration when that planning is taking place. We should create an accessible environment as far as like wheelchair ramps, visual alternatives to lesson content, for kids like that have hearing impairment. That's near and dear to my heart since that's what I did. Support should be provided to all students to assist and allow them to reach their full potential, and that was per Future Learn in 2021. What support can a school leader provide to encourage advocacy? I think it's fun that I have started all of my presentations out with that slide of I am the voice of an advocate, so that's not something that I chose specifically just for this. I'm here because I love to advocate for kids. So we want to make sure that leaders in a school can actively help to change a non-inclusive culture by modeling expected behaviors, attitudes, and reactions. We want to reward school members at every level for positive attitudes and behaviors to help foster that change that's needed, and that's via Team XQ in 2022. So what plans and strategies would we have moving forward? This would be, we'd want to have inclusive teachers to express a positive attitude towards students' families. We want a welcoming environment to promote getting to know students and their backgrounds. We want curriculum materials that represent a diverse array of cultures. We want instructional strategies to allow for our students' first language, but also to promote the development of their English language skills. We want inclusive instruction to allow for student choice in topics and content. And we also want to take time to reflect on implicit biases, and that's per Team XQ in 2022. So how do we avoid those negatives? So we're always going to encounter some challenges related to possibly school finance or technical building infrastructure issues. We have the requirements for standardized testing, not always the same teacher quality coming out of the education system. We have some community needs such as health care, dental care, things like that. We need to make sure that children's health and well-being, it's a critical component that does affect their ability to learn and grow. And we want to make sure that we are taking care of those things as well. And that's per Childhood Education International in 2021. So some concluding thoughts. I do have a better understanding of inclusive school culture because I read the 11 articles and I summarized those articles, presented those articles here in this presentation. My educational leadership skills have increased after completing this assignment, and my slideshow promoted the current and future success and well-being of each student and adult by expanding on my philosophy about education to embrace inclusion. I did not have a difficult time going back and finding where to put in those words, the supportive, equitable, culturally responsive, and inclusive school culture. I thought that was pretty easy to go back and put through. Most of the things that we talked about today actually included all 4 of them. So for the relevancy, the assignment was relevant to my learning about special education because inclusion is important for our students. I've already been working with our district on our strategic plan, which includes a section on diversity, equity, and inclusion, which I was a co-chair on that committee. We just need to make sure that we can get the school board to come on board with our plan. I will continue to expand upon what I already know on the importance of inclusion. I feel supported by our current administration, but not all of the current board members. So we had taken our strategic plan to the board and it was voted down 4-3. So we're doing some work and rewriting a few things, and hopefully it will be coming back together in September. I do support inclusive education in my current role as an instructional coach. I'm able to coach teachers to know the importance and hopefully start to change the culture of the district. Our school administration is on board with inclusive education and they support it through modeling. Our community is currently a bit divided on inclusive culture. It's been a hot topic at those recent board meetings, and we're hoping to get others on board with some changing of some words in our strategic plan. My personal reflection, this assignment has made me a better educator and a future leader. It has solidified my thoughts on inclusion and its importance in the schools. As a future leader, I will promote success and well-being of every student and adult. Each person deserves to feel like they matter. I will apply my new knowledge by modeling good inclusion in my interactions with students and with adults in our community. And I do anticipate that there will be some pushback, as the status quo can be the easier road for adults to take. In the end, inclusion does matter, and our kids deserve it. So I'm hopeful that we have a plan moving forward that will allow us to have a more inclusive culture in our schools. Thank you guys. Sorry this was so long.